If you've ever worked at a corporate, key metrics is like the most boring thing in the world because it's like the value you bring put in a number. Instead, I like to think about key metrics is that you're a mad scientist building a machine and it's got all of these levers all over it and like funnels belching out smoke and money's coming in one side and products are just getting shat out the other side and all of your friends are around with you like pulling the levers. Key metrics are the levers that we pull to change how the business works. So as you're building it, some of the levers just won't work. Like you'll pull them and they'll go and nothing will change. Some of the levers, you pull it and like a zillion more products come out or a zillion more people hear about the idea because it's not a magical black box where stuff goes in one end and money comes out the other. It's like, it's a machine you have to build. And so you want to get into the habit of adding and removing levers and seeing which works and which doesn't.
Chances are your business won't make any money for the first few years. And so if we measure our own success by the amount of money we've made, it's going to be a really depressing number. If, however, we define something that we all care about and figure out a way to measure it, and then we watch that number go up week on week or year on year, that's really gratifying. So in your team or alone, get a bunch of Post-it notes or another bit of paper and just vomit out as many ideas for things you could measure as possible. You might think of some really functional stuff like staff busyness in a number, or number of events we run per year, or anything else that describes the functional health of the company. Or you could look at some more soft figures like how happy our customers are, how many times our customers send their friends to us. If there's a really strong social slant to the business, then you could measure your impact numbers, which gets really complicated, but we could just be aspirational. What stuff do we want to measure every single week? Maybe the partner that you're working with can tell you how many kids they've fed each day, or what the increase in family savings is because of your involvement. And the fun thing here is to imagine what number describes what makes us unique as a company. Like, we're going to measure the thing that is important to us, and when that number goes up, our business is more unique and we are prouder of what we've done, and it all works better. Once you've got a whole bunch of ideas for key metrics, a fun thing to do is figure out the hero metric. A lot of startups call this their North Star metric, like the most important metric to rule them all and in the darkness bind them. It's like when this number goes up, we win. When this number goes down, we lose. The first key metric you come up with is probably going to be your hero metric. Normally our instincts are pretty correct about this stuff. But if you're struggling, you can do a flowchart of all of your key metrics. So think about when this key metric goes up, it causes these other metrics to go up. Whereas when this metric goes up, it doesn't actually change any of the other numbers. And just sketch it out and figure out which of your metrics have the most cause and effect on everything else in the company. A key metric that changes all of your other metrics is more likely to be your hero metric. So let's say 3 important things for us are how likely people are to tell their friends to buy our product, maybe how many new customers we get per month or week, and like number of likes and follows on social media. In this case, the referral rate is more likely to be the hero metric because a high referral rate causes more customers each week. It probably also causes people to like us on Facebook or Instagram. Whereas we probably can't say that more likes on social media causes the other things. It only tells us that people like our social media presences. So in this case, we've looked at a few metrics and we figured out which one is more likely to cause the other ones. That's our hero metric.
I know a guy who worked at a consulting company, and one of their metrics that was literally written on a whiteboard so that everyone could see it was the number of flights each consultant had make each week. So if you were making less than 50 flights away from your friends and family to do work each year, you were a sucker and you weren't working hard enough. Alternatively, in one of my companies, we tracked the percentage of our customers that were creating a social impact. And it started at like 35% and ended at like 95%. So a nice sense check for that is, if we put this on a whiteboard and tracked it every week, would the people in the room be motivated? Maybe the consultants love working hard. And maybe we really like having customers that create impact. So if there's a style of company you like, go and look up interviews with the founder of that company, because they've probably done what you're doing right now and sat down and thought, what's important to this company and what do I want to measure? And if they're a successful founder, they're probably really willing to share that information. Even consider nailing them down and giving them a call.
If you've done this right, you've got like a hero metric. I like to think of it as like the lead singer in the band. You can have a couple of other ones, like the bassist and the guitarist, but we want that hero that kind of guides everything else.
If you're frustrated that you can't think of any, that's okay. You will build your key metrics as you go. The important thing is to think about what we can measure right from the start.
Nice people are not naturally numbers people. You know, there are people that say they're numbers people, and more often than not, they want a really nice story with some numbers in it. A key metric is a way of helping people who are not particularly interested in numbers to get excited about numbers. And doing it at the whole company level means that we can all be a numbers person on that one number that defines whatever our shared definition of success is. Imagine measuring the amount of people I've helped today via whatever your definition of help or impact is, and having that number on a big whiteboard in the company office. And now it's going to be 0. And maybe at the end of this month it'll be 1. And then in 10 years it's going to be a really big number. If you can imagine wiping out that number and putting 10,000 or 10 million on the board, and that makes your heart sing, then that's a good key metric.